Long before Captain Cook discovered eastern Australia, many ships and lives were lost off the west coast. The divers were attempting to raise a cannon from the Dutch East Indiaman Gilt Dragon, wrecked on a reef 70 miles north of Perth in 1656. The ship was sailing from Europe to Batavia when it struck the reef just south of Ledge Point.
Estimates of the value of the Gilt Dragon's treasure once rose as high as £8 million.
The 75 survivors came ashore. 7 of them sailed in a small ship's boat back to Batavia to get help. When help finally arrived, the remaining 68 that were left on the beach had disappeared. And it's one of the most enduring maritime mysteries in Australia at the moment is where were the survivors camped and what happened to them.
The encrusted cannon from the Gilt Dragon was immediately taken 70 miles by road to the Fremantle Maritime Museum. It's now been out of the water for several hours, and the concretion comes off more easily.
So we're detecting along the beach and working along the beach. We got a signal close to the cliffs, and as we started to pull up, as we got the signal, we just started shifting the sand. We pulled out our musket balls and they just kept on pulling them out. It was 1, 2, and then got just more and more signals. And from there on, we just kept on going and having a look.
These musket balls are actually joined by a copper spring. Now these were loaded into a small deck gun with a powder charge and fired. And when they came out the end of the cannon, the 2 balls would separate on the spring and they'd spin. And they would just chop you to pieces. I mean, they were just grape shot. They were absolutely lethal, deadly, horrible things. So this find is hugely significant in the Gilt Dragon story.
If they'd been in the ocean, you'd be talking about shells, settlement, a lot more seashells all around it, where these have got nothing on it.
Now these musket balls are exactly the same size as the ones on the Gilt Dragon. And these haven't washed ashore. Musket balls don't wash ashore. They've been carried ashore. Somewhere they were camped for at least a week. And there should be lots of stuff. There'd be stuff that they would have walked up and down the beach salvaging whatever they could off the wreck, brought it ashore. There would have been stuff squirreled away, hidden away. So somewhere along here is the main camp. And I think these musket balls are a clue to that location. I would count it as one of the most significant coastal finds. There's been other finds found out in the ocean. So here we are, decades later, and that just goes to show what can be hidden along this section of the coast. Amazing bit of history, just sitting there.